Mark Selby against Dave Gilbert. Two players who Clive thought the world of. Dave Gilbert, a former Midland amateur champion. That's a tournament in which Clive excelled many moons ago.
Thank you. First frame, Dave Gilbert to break.
It's an entirely appropriate matchup. And equally appropriate that my co-commentator is another gentleman who Clive had the very highest regard for, Neil Foulds.
Yeah, thanks, Phil, and well done today. Great words. And as you say, Clive would have wanted it all to continue, and we've got some terrific matches to look forward to. It's a very unmarked Selby-like shot, quite honestly. There's a bit of a larrup, really, at that opening red.
That's what he was doing a lot against Johan Sejun 2 rounds ago. Every time he took one on from distance, he seemed to overcut it.
The match is a little longer, best of 9 frames, so we get the mid-session. It's almost the old traditional duration of match, although best of 7 has become the norm more so in recent years.
One.
If Selby plays like he did against Tepchira Nu last night, Dave Gilbert's task will be tough to say the least.
Yeah, I think the way Tepchira played and what he threw at Mark Selby, he knew he had to play to a certain level. He knew he had to go out there and perform to a high level and maybe attack a little more than he sometimes does. Almost made his mind up for him, Tepchira. That's a beautiful little cannon. Been involved in so many close matches recently, most of which he's won.
30.
But of course he was beaten narrowly by Ishpreet, the Indian player in Brentwood. Seems to have got himself back on track
40.
though with some wins, and no one can say he's not had hard matches, because he really has. It's almost something that he seems to relish as a player.
$21. $22.
Once again, very controlled cannon. He didn't want the cue ball to just run onto the right-hand side cushion, so he did well.
$29.
The tables were recovered overnight.
30.
Let's hope that the complaints about conditions, which have cropped up this week occasionally will now go away.
Going to be a very difficult shot that to get the reds open. He almost arced the cue ball too far to the right and then back through them. It's one of those shots, perhaps less speed on the cue ball would have been better. And it's clearly end of break. There's nothing available for him now. One thing Mark Selby has always done throughout his career is he's never wasted a shot. He's not frustrated and just played up the table anywhere. He's always looking to put the opponent in the most awkward place. That's what match play is all about.
Mark Selby, 37.
Now, that was identical to the deciding frame last night. Selby got in first with 37, then played safe, didn't take a risk.
Yes, they're up by the brown. It's causing both players not so much a problem, but it's just making it a slightly different frame. Any safety shot down that right side, as we look, is going to be blocking off that red. So it's interesting to see how that plays a part further down the frame.
These two are very good friends. On the night that Dave Gilbert won his ranking title at the Championship League in 2021, he went straight from lifting the trophy to a party at Mark Selby's house. Pre-arranged party, nothing to do with the victory. They have practiced a lot together. And sometimes, Neil, that can lessen the intimidation factor for the lower ranked player.
Yeah, I think that's right. But even then, you know, he's beaten him on a few occasions. In big matches as well, David Gilbert, you know, he's now seemingly back to something like his best form. That run at the World Championships put him back on track. He's got the kind of game that's good enough to beat almost anybody, I think.
Gilbert was successful in their last 2 meetings, including this season's Xi'an Grand Prix. Last 16, Gilbert coming through 5-4.
I've got a feeling that the red that Mark Selby rolled up to, he's considering having a little dart at this, or he certainly was, down into the bottom right pocket. It's of course very difficult. Hopes that if he misses it, the red will just move away from there. Yeah, that's not the worst shot.
They also met in the last 16 of this event last year. Selby sneaking through 4-3. It was down to the wire, as so many of his matches tend to be. Mind you, it wasn't down to the wire when they met in their only final. That was the climax of the English Open in 2019. Selby won 9-1.
Yes, I remember that match. I don't think I've ever seen Mark Selby play better. And of course, he's got a very illustrious career, but that match in particular was very... hit the heights, I thought. That's an excellent safety shot. That's as good as it gets. Hit a very thin contact on that red and get the pace right. Beautiful shot.
The action on table 2 all week has been shown on ITVX. No difference today. And what a start from John Higgins. In the background, just dishing up the table, making a century in the first frame against Elliot Slesser.
Foul. Mark Selby, 4.
Oh, this is a serious mistake now with the red going in the D and the cue ball, of course, going in there as well.
Yeah, the missed red was bad enough. The in-off, that was far worse. Already 41 to the good, Neil. You can't imagine Selby won't tidy up with this chance.
I'll put it this way, I think if he was 40 behind coming to the table, he'd fancy winning the frame here. Just got to play from colour to red, and then with the black available to the right corner, it really is a chance and a half. Brand of snooker that he plays when he's playing well, Selby. Very tight safety game, and then of course when this opportunity arises, he's a heavy scorer, so he's got all bases covered when he's playing well anyway. And always been doing so the last year, 18 months.
Four.
I think the key for Selby, and it comes as a coefficient of confidence, just needs to avoid being ponderous. as the pink creeps in there. Average shot time last night going into the decider was 24 seconds, which is
10.
better than average. 26 at the moment, but that's okay.
$11.
Yes, he didn't want to be where he was on that red, but it didn't cause him a problem as it happened.
$14. $15.
Well, he overscrewed by a long way. New cloth on the table, slightly improved conditions might be one of the reasons for that. Well, that is not one of his best.
19.
Still a very healthy advantage. Now this red, he knows in the back of his mind he should be on it easier than this.
$20.
So the frame is not over. Didn't pot the red cleanly, lost control of the cue ball. I think now he'll be... Well, I mean, I don't know whether he can pot this. He's very close to it. It's pink. It's hard to think it would be an easy shot to play without push shot happening. But usually with Selby, he'll take the opportunity to completely nail down one of the colours and make a counter-attack less likely.
Green ball.
Be surprised if the green is not on the right-hand side cushion after this shot.
Mark Selby, 20.
Always looking for value.
He is, but he'll also, in the back of his mind, be disappointed that he didn't clinch the frame, because it was a great chance. But he will do now.
One.
It's been a stressful tournament for Mark Selby, given so many close finishes. A stressful fortnight, actually. But this frame has been entirely stress-free.
8. Nine. $16.
Very accustomed to this kind of position, Mark Selby.
17.
He's appearing in his 97th ranking event quarter-final. Starting out on the road to what would be his 63rd semi-final. It's all very familiar territory.
24. $25. $29. $30.
Yeah, I think with David Gilbert, you'd be aware of what he's up against, and what he is up against is an opponent who invariably will get better as the tournament goes on. He's weathered a few storms, as Phil was alluding to.
32. $34. $37. Mark Selby. 37 on the frame.
A formidable match player makes a flying start. Mark Selby draws first blood. Dave Gilbert will need to fight back, but he's been doing plenty of that so far this week. He was 3-2 down in the last 16 to Liu Haoshan, won 4-3. He was 3-1 down to Ashley Carty in the last 32. Again, won 4-3. So losing the first frame here, you won't be overly perturbed.
Well, not much has been left there. Possible double to right middle. That's the way he wanted to go. Don't know if this red will cut into the left corner, but it'd be quite thin if he decided against the double and to play it as a thin cut. Decided against both. Always the worry when you play Mark Selby, how do you get in? Where are you going to become a powerful scorer against someone that really does their best to defend strongly? The answer is, of course, you have to attack Mark where possible. Sometimes that's easier said than done, depending on the state of the balls.
Selby, in the event last year, was runner-up to Mark Williams. Williams winning 10-7. And they both play a very similar kind of game. When they do miss, by design, very rarely do they leave anything. And that can be really disheartening for an opponent. You can have lengthy spells of potting inactivity, being kept cold. No change in the score, by the way, on table 2. Elliott Slessor and John Higgins. Higgins, big century in the first. The second frame was re-racked.
One.
Pretty good shot, and of course Gilbert rolled up to the reds, seemingly feeling that he'd left nothing in doing so. But very accurate cut to middle. Got to force this around a couple of cushions. It's black. And nicely done as well. So he's creating good chances, Selby. Winning the safety battle.
8.
Gilbert really hasn't had a look in yet.
Nine.
If you look at the pros and cons of Selby's game this season, well, certainly this week he's not been potting them from distance. But boy, has he been scoring this season. 17 centuries so far, only
14.
2 off the top of the list.
$50.
And already, and the season is still in its
20.
infancy, already Selby's had 4 matches where he's made 2 centuries.
$21. $24. 25.
Pretty good. Very hard to think that he wouldn't be on one there.
30.
Yes, most little nudges would allow him to be on something. Don't know if it's covered the black to the left corner, that red just dropping down. May have done. But the options are aplenty here.
31.
Something of a repeat in the way it's been played out of frame 1, this one. Well, there you can see the black
37.
is not covered, so that might help him further down the line. He can just run this through onto the black. Maybe if he could
38.
move the red to the left of the black away and clear it up completely.
$45. $46.
Apart from a rank bad shot, you cannot see a stumbling block.
52. $53.
Looks like he's held the spot, so the yellow spot is the only available, the highest available, of course.
59.
One on the same thing. If he was dead straight on this, it would be easy to run through. He might have to just run it through off the cushion, black, as he's double checking. Of course, still goes to left corner. Nothing's changed.
$60.
This is frame ball.
67.
The second frame pretty much like the first.
$68. $73.
Well, David Gilbert just rolled into the reds from a safety exchange, and he left this. This is how the break started. Gilbert would have been happy enough with his defensive shot, but proved not to be any good to him. An excellent opener, and since then, having opened the reds up, he hasn't really looked like missing until the
81.
frame was long gone. Gilbert is yet to pot a ball in this match.
$82. $89. $90.
Well, this looks perfect, just running off the bottom cushion, perhaps left side cushion, in behind the red. It's a question of the pace more than anything, this shot.
$95.
Yes, he didn't want to have to use the rest on this shot. The small extension suggests he can reach it, but it's the last piece of the jigsaw for the century, you feel.
96. Mark Selby, 101 and the frame.
That was superb. It was the definition of efficient. Mark Selby leads 2-0.
Thank you. Frame 3. Dave Gilbert to break.
You know, when Steve Davis ended a barren spell to win the 1997 Masters, beating Ronnie O'Sullivan in the final, Clive Everton so eloquently said, "An old master restored." Well, Mark Selby looked exactly that way in the first 2 frames. By his standards, he's had a barren spell. Hasn't won a ranking title since the WST Classic in early 2023. The signs are that could change this weekend.
Now currently Gilbert all out to pot his first ball in this match, banging that double with safety in mind, but not really playing a part yet. Not getting many chances to do so either.
Foul.
Oh dear,
Mark Selby,
well, that's the
4.
last thing he needed. It's another in off. It was the same as in frame 1 when he managed to go in off and left a red right up the other end. The first thing you look at with the in off is what is close to the D.
One.
Look at the points with that reply. 204 to start the match from Selby, with a chance to pile on here.
Yes, it's even more unsettling, isn't it, at the beginning of a match when, in this case, David Gilbert, like I said just a few moments ago, has yet to, if you like, trouble the scorers. But he can do very little in his chair. And then that comes completely out of the blue. Thought he'd just roll it in, quite honestly, but he played the stun shot. I thought he could drop this in. I don't know what was to be gained by playing that stun shot, but anyway, Gilbert now with an easy opener. He'll be grateful for that.
Extended.
Well, he's getting the extended rest, I can tell you, on the other table. Elliot Slessor has equalised against John Higgins. Higgins was in first in the second frame. Surprisingly, Mr. slowly rolled red to a top corner pocket, and Slessor, in a single visit, drew level.
One.
Lovely occasion, this. Full house at the Centaur. Both tables, not a seat to be had. Lovely venue, this.
Well, not a bad split with the red to middle, but he could have been on something a lot easier. I mean, the reds have scattered somewhat. He's got to be careful because his next red might be queuing over the black slightly, or in some ways hampering him. I'd like it to be easier than this if he could have. I'm not that surprised, you know. It wasn't a nice shot. He's got no table time.
One.
As discussed earlier, Selby knows Gilbert very well. He knows that he's getting no table time if he's being frozen out, if he's making a few mistakes. He can be prone to becoming crestfallen. That's why Selby will be giving this everything.
$14. 15.
Yes, he left himself a choice of
20.
either red to right corner.
$21.
Well, that was a huge target. Again,
20th.
played a little slower. think it would have gripped more, that cue ball, and gone into them. So that was a surprise. Yeah, I mean, it's hard to think you could finish where he has, really, with the cue ball arcing right round the bunch. Still finishing on the left of the table with no contact.
Mark Selby, 20.
He's looking good, Selby. There's just the odd little shot that you can't imagine will go wrong, that is going wrong, in amongst all the good stuff.
All agreed, Neil, and that potting from distance, 0 from 4 so far.
Yes. They've both drawn a blank. Gilbert more so in the whole match. He's not potted a single ball, but he was looking at the red just above the black spot to cut it in and go through the bunch. It would be an adventurous shot. It would be a route back into the match. Of course, he potted a couple of balls in this frame, Gilbert, but that's all. Didn't amount to anything.
Foul from this. Mark Selby, 4. Foul. Yeah.
Try to get a bit fancy there with that safety shot, getting very thin contact. He's not really getting anywhere, is he? He knows, and the frustration just beginning to show. Now, is he looking at a 4-ball plant here? You're going to have to believe it's going to go in, because he really doesn't have to play this if he's unsure, but he certainly looked at it.
One.
He's the kind of player, you know, he's got a knowledge of cue sports. He's been a good pool player as well. If he takes on that sort of a plant, which is high risk, you get the feeling he's going to work out how to get it. And then that happened. So
Mark Selby, 1.
again, it's the same story. Selby looking good, but not invincible.
It's a recurring theme with him. Make a good start, build a useful lead, and then just go off the ball a little. Quite often, he roars into a lead, the other guy comes back, but Selby wins in the end.
Well, the flip side to all of that is that now this chance for Gilbert is the best he's had, and it might be the most important passage of play in the whole match. Gonna have to take something here.
1.
Because you won't get too many better chances than this.
Seven. Eight. 15. $16.
Such an elegant player, Dave Gilbert. World number 21 right now, that's officially. If he were to win this match, he'd be bordering the top 16. Not quite there, but within striking distance.
$22. $23.
I think that was a better cannon than what it looked. There was a chance you could be covered by the red that he cannoned into. And of course the red on the right side of the table is probably going to be the key to this break and indeed this frame. At what point he can take that?
$29. $30.
Now, does he have sensible striking on this pink to middle? Two reds. I don't think he meant to get quite as close to those two reds as he has done. Question of whether either of them pot, and you can see the left-hand one would pot. When the pink is respotted, though, of course, it all gets a little bit awkward. So he might have studied the cue ball just this side of the pink ball. But the break really starts here. Looks like he's thinking about leaving the double on that red. He wasn't sure about that one, only just fell in off the top jaw. Now he has choices.
36. Dave Gilbert, 36.
The first two frames were cut and dried, this one. In the lap of the gods.
Yes, on the replay, you could just see the man on the other table who was at the table, John Higgins, who would have probably been quite nice if John could have played that shot for him because he's a master at that double. I don't think I've ever seen him miss one like that.
always been the case, Neil. Certain frames have a big feeling about them. This one has. If Gilbert falls 3-0 adrift, it would be a devilishly difficult task to get back into it.
One.
Well, he hasn't put his hand up to apologise. I mean, I'll be honest, from the angle we had, I didn't feel that the red even passed the green, but it did. What does he do now? He may have had it in his mind that he could either pot it directly or off the green, perhaps. Might be a significant shot, even if it's not in itself a frame winner, by him clearing up. Very hard to get from green to the two reds. To get down low on the cue ball here. If you play that shot on the green with topspin, the cue ball seems to trap. It becomes, the spin just stops the cue ball moving very far. You feel that there's still quite a bit of mileage left in this frame after that last shot. Knocking the blue safe, that might be significant further down the line.
Foul and a miss.
It's a terrible mistake to miss it altogether, because he may well have left a free ball here.
Free ball.
He has left a free ball, so he's kind of tied himself in a few knots there, I think. Not the first time he's missed altogether, but to leave the free ball brings Selby this chance. Take the brown as a red and a colour, and maybe a way of getting on the two reds now.
Playing it like that, there wasn't an awful lot of jeopardy. He was going to be on the black as well, but I don't think he's on it quite as anticipated.
No, and the problem he's got is if he tried to play on the two reds, the black will now go on the pink spot. So it might block them off if he was to play it that way. So he's played to nudge them. It's a great effort, this. Not bad. Could have run slightly more favourably.
8.
Well, I'm very surprised that he's not going for this. I thought he would try it. I understand it's awkward. Red is closest to certainly run down the other end of the table.
Mark Selby, 8.
I think it was worth a go, the other red there, but Mark erring on the side of caution, which he often does.
Almost gave another lot of penalty points away there. On table 2, John Higgins back in front at 2-1. Both he and Elliot Slessor missed a red early on. Then Higgins knocked in a speculative plant, the priority being safety. In it went, he dropped on a colour and hey presto, 2-1.
Cheers, thank you.
Well, this time perhaps overcompensated. He missed a couple of thin shots, one from that side. This time he hits too much of the red. Ultimately, it's as damaging as the previous mistakes.
One.
Well, he can finish straight on the red with the pink close at hand. Usually straight would not be a very good angle on this shot. Green is going back onto his own spot, so it's out of harm's way. He's got the luxury of a fairly straight red that he can essentially just drop in.
Yeah, just trundle
Four.
this.
Fine.
And of course, Neil, earlier you mentioned the awkward blue. Well, if he knocks in the pink, he'll be 15 ahead. So the blue would not be required if he takes yellow, green and brown.
Yeah, correct. But he's just got to be a little careful here that on this pink he doesn't hit either the blue or the black. There is a gap between them, of course, but watchful. So yeah, he's in a position where he can get the frame one with
11.
3 bolt colours. I mean, this was the frame
30.
where he has made a couple of errors, which may have proved costly. But it appears not so. Gilbert hasn't really taken advantage of them.
$16. $20.
Typically hard as nails, no positional ambition off the brown whatsoever. Maybe that's why Gilbert was smiling a little.
Mark Selby, 20.
Yes, it's 2 snookers as it stands, although if he pots the blue, it would be 1 to tie on the pink and black, 6-point penalty. But I think that's end of frame he concedes.
Mark Selby.
Yes, there's no doubt Dave Gilbert is getting a little irritated. Mark Selby serenely to 3-0. To action available to watch with commentary on ITVX.
Thank you. Frame 4.
Now it's
Mark
back
Selby to break.
table 1, where Mark Selby is prime objective.
Thank you. Can we quiet, please?
To remain on course for a comfortable victory. He wants to press home the advantage. He was taken off there just before he broken off with a rather unusual laugh from somewhere. I suppose he is the jester.
One.
It's a good shot, and I think we've seen this kind of duration of match before. To say the obvious, really, that he has to win this frame at 4-0 down. It's not turned over very often. Of course, Judd Trump managed it from that far behind in Saudi against Wu Yiza, and he went on to win the title. But at 3-1, it's a very different mid-session interval at that scoreline than 4-0.
4.
Yes, and all week we've not seen intervals in best of sevens. When they are incorporated time and again, they change the whole complexion of a match.
Five.
Well, it's a nice split, and he deserves something, although
10.
your eyes are drawn to the reds now all around the black spot, which were not there. So it's completely blocked off the black from being potted, which is the one downside of the last shot. Problem he's got with the red that's closest to the pocket, which he's looked at already once, is that, you know, that it feels like he's going to hit another red on the way back up to his next colour from that. Finding a few problems, Gilbert, isn't he?
Eleven.
This is where Dave Gilbert is at his most effective, in amongst them, scoring. As we said, he's only won a single world ranking title, and yet his century total is right up there with the elite. Not so long ago, he made his 400th century in professional competition. And that's a hefty number, Neil.
40.
Yes, he's a very elegant and very good player in all departments, actually. Right now, though, I think a break of about 65 to 70 would be more than sufficient, be very welcomed.
$15.
It's more about where the colours are placed, high-value colours, not necessarily in play.
$20.
And this will not be an easy rest shot now, because he's going to have to force it, maybe try and screw across off of some of the reds in the middle of the table. That means the pot is not assured.
21.
Well, can he get through to the pink? This is even more difficult than the red. This is a very good shot. Played confidently.
27.
He was stretching. It was just guaranteed to be on a red, so it was a particularly important shot, I think.
Yeah, the pink was a tester at 3-0 up, let alone 3-0 down.
$28. 33. $34. 40. 41.
Well, so far so good for Gilbert. It's been quite a complicated break. He's done well to keep it going.
$47. 48. 54. 55.
Clearly not as successful or indeed as experienced as Selby, but he's no stranger to ranking quarterfinals. This is Gilbert's 26th. He's been in a couple of Crucible semi-finals. He's been in Masters semi-finals as well. He knows
61.
all about the big occasion.
$62.
I think what makes it such a good break, the black's never been available here all the way through it. And as you can see, there are the
68.
colours he's taken, 6 times the pink. Gone up to bulk a couple of times, but the black has always been tied up. So it's a very impressive performance in a frame he had to win. So
69.
it puts him in there, you know, at the mid-session interval with something to aim at. Clearly he's playing well. Possibly the third frame he could have won. Those two he never got a look in.
$72. $73. Dave Gilbert, 73, and the frame.
Frame 4 brought a rich harvest for the man they call the Angry Farmer. But at the mid-session interval, the cream of the crop has been Mark Selby. He leads 3-1.
Well,
Yeah,
A,
Gilbert
win
to
the
break.
match, B, can he get it done without the need for what would be, for him, a fourth decider in as many matches this week. It's worth saying they played 12 times before, and 6 of those meetings have gone to the last frame, including the most recent at the Jiang Grand Prix in China this season, where Gilbert came through 5-4. He played that good fourth frame. A little more latitude, of course, now we've gone to best of 9. I think Selby at times has played really, really well this week, particularly last night, but he would love to win some of these matches without the need for a last gasp finish. There's a bit of a clang there, but it didn't seem to put him off. People obviously coming back in on the other table after the interval to watch John Higgins, Elliott Slesser. They're about to resume.
Yeah, unfortunately for Mark, red goes over corner. Wasn't an awful lot he could do about it because such a good safety shot by Davey. Had to get the cue ball back in bulk. It's always something of a risk. Now Dave's got to try and catch this nice and thin. The cue ball back up table. Yeah, too thin. But that was important, wasn't it, frame 4? Especially the way that you won it. To let Mark know he's going to be punished. He's going to continue pressing. Tough blue, this. Just a couple of people leaving their seats on the other side of the arena. Just put him off for a second. That always feels like the way, doesn't it? It's so difficult for a snooker player to get it out your mind when that happens. Problem when that happens and you're distracted, you say to yourself, right, I'm not going to think about that, but by saying that, you are thinking about it. Anyway, Mark, half chance.
Intervals, traditionally, if they help anyone, it's the player trailing, the player who's in front. I'm sure would love to stay out there, and it's about just re-engaging with the match now. Gilbert, of course, did win the 4th frame. There's a lot of movement in this arena. It's not the audience's fault they're taking their seats again.
Yep.
Meanwhile, this is going to be a re-wrap. This could be a good time for everyone else to come in now, because we're going to start the frame again. Didn't take long for Mark and Dave to agree to that. So Julian Bell will set them up once again. I've got not official stats on this, but it seems to be Mark Selby has been involved in a lot of re-racks over the years, but sometimes the balls just dictate.
Yes, that's no bad thing. I think the upper stand, if you like, where the spectators are, there's a lot of them up there as well. You can see it there in the background, just coming in from the right. That's where the public foyer is, up to the right there. So just coming in. Other table, Elliot and John just about to commence their frame 5, as will Dave and Mark.
Always feels like a big frame in a best of 9. If it's 3-1, the player leading has a real chance to pull away and
Frame
all
5.
but win the match. Obviously, the
Dave
player
Gilbert to
trailing, desperately trying to get back into it. Gilbert, though, in general, he's feeling good. I had a chat with him at one of the tournaments recently, and you know, he's got his club, Potters. That's a new thing for him, and it's going well. He's enjoying being involved in that side of things. Of course, we know he did well at the Crucible, got to the semis. He's working with Andy Lee, who's a player himself, who's sort of kept him going to the gym, doing the right things. And the snooker is paying off as well off the back of that. But he left Mark Selby a red from distance, and he has thundered it in.
Worth another look, isn't it? Right in the heart of the pocket. And it was struck that well that the cue ball has stopped shy of the baulk line, and a nice chance. In some ways, that's a telltale sign. Well, the long red was struck, you know, powered in, and yet didn't reach the baulk line. Brilliant.
4.
Not so much that one, though. It's a tough red. Cue ball didn't travel. New bedcloth and cushions overnight, which is great. They do tend to play a little softer, certainly first up. Evidence of it with that shot. It's kind of nice that for the players. They feel they can power through a shot and they don't lose the cue ball, so to speak.
We've had a few sleeping giants in the game of late, haven't we? Neil Robertson sort of awoke last week. The English Open, there's another one coming to life on the next table. John Higgins is a third. Mark Selby. The point is, they're giants, the game, and they have the quality to find something even when results aren't necessarily what they want.
11. 18. $19.
Just cueing at the red above to the right of the black tells us that that red won't go to left corner, so he's going to use power.
$26.
Terrific split, and he's on it. What a chance.
$27.
Yeah, I'm not sure the crowd sort of knew if he could see that red or not. They could see it was a good split, but of course you've got to be on one. He is. So, of course, he's already made a century in frame 2.
$32. $33. $38. $39.
That one shot there tells you all you need to know about conditions now.
46.
Today they are perfect. You know, using the cushion, he was able
47.
to power through the black. That's gone a little bit straight. You've got to be careful here, but there has been, of course, some discontent with conditions the last couple of weeks, but some people think, oh, you know, they don't get praise when conditions are good. Well, I'm going to praise them now. This table is playing absolutely perfectly. Again here, you force through this, but you don't lose the cue ball. See that? Just goes nice round the corner, softly off the cushion. It's exactly what the players are looking for.
54. $55.
I wonder if Dave Gilbert is regretting the re-rack. He broke off and left the long red on. Mark Selby's knocked it in.
$60.
And now a couple of reds away from a 4-1 advantage.
$61.
Looking to reach what would be a 63rd ranking event semi-final, but his first since the Players' Championship in February.
$66. Mark
grief.
Selby,
Frame ball.
66.
Frame ball. What a moment this could be. There's just enough on. 66 the lead. 67 on the table. Selby furious.
One. Eight.
Yeah, now what sort of path is the cue ball going to take naturally? That's going to be the key to this, because he can't do anything with it. As far as imparting spin on the cue ball. So the natural, obviously, is going to run into the second red there. And of course, he needs all blacks to win the frame at this visit. He's taking the second one. Brilliant shot.
9.
All right, he's lost the cue ball, but that was as good as he could do. And it's a natural angle to play on and off cushion for the red in the same pocket. If this black goes in, might be in business here, Dave. Everything is on the pot. We decided to hold it. As I say, you play around the back of it for the same pocket,
16.
you're pretty guaranteed. Even if it would be with the rest, but this is not terrible.
Well, another terrific shot this, and now Selby must be concerned. We saw the annoyance when he missed, but it'll be double, of course, if Gilbert can make the clearance. And if Selby has been struggling
24.
for confidence, then losing a frame like this is not going to help him on that score.
25.
To say so many matches where he seems to start well of late have become close. All three so far that he's won have been in deciders this week. Well, a new
32.
cloth pulling it in.
$33.
he's going to have to inject quite a lot of pace in this if he wants to get anywhere close to the yellow with those soft cushions. Not easy to make the journey. You see, and he lost control because he had to inject the extra pace. So not only does it end the break, he's snookered and must hit the yellow. Should do. What you're hoping for here, good separation. And get away with it, which he hasn't. Chance for Mark to redeem all here.
Yes, he'll be relieved that he has this chance. He's come round to look at the potting angle. Dave Gilbert could have landed a mighty blow there. Selby mightily relieved. He's managed to snooker himself, but expected to hit this one snooker needed by Gilbert. John
Selby,
Higgins has made a second century on table 2. He's 4-1 up on Elliott Slester, and Higgins now playing really, really good stuff. We were saying, you know, it seemed like the end of an era, didn't it, on Sunday when the ranking list was revised and he dropped out the top 16 after 29 years. By the weekend, he could be back in. Practiced together many times. Dave Gilbert knows what a tall order this is. Getting the successful snooker against Selby, particularly when he's putting you in them. Well, it was nearly a full ball one.
Half chance in behind black. He's going to make sure he doesn't pot the green.
3.
It was only one snooker needed, but it sort of felt like mission impossible at the same time because of who Dave Gilbert's playing here. But Selby will be relieved. Didn't quite kill the frame off. Gilbert had the chance to make the clearance.
Selby, 3.
Didn't land on
Frame
the yellow.
conceded. Frame. Mark Selby.
And now he's in big trouble. Mark Selby, a frame from victory, leading here at Cheltenham 4-1. So Mark Selby got away with that unexpected miss on frame ball. He is 4-1 up, and he's one away from another semi-final place. Of course, he was runner-up here last year to Mark Williams.
Yeah, probably try and send this red into the cluster. Yeah. To get that cue ball back in. Ball deciding on the cross double.
1.
It's funny, these players are so accurate that when they play a shot at any kind of pot, even that, a cross double with the intention of getting the cue ball in the baulk cushion, they generally do. But Dave's eyeing up this brown. And this is one of those scoreboard shots. It's because he's 4-1 behind. Feels he has to press. Oh, fabulous. And the good thing about that, it's not reckless. You know, he didn't play it with sort of abandon.
5.
He fancied it. So, a long road back, but it's a good start.
6. $11. $12. 19.
Yeah, that's not bad. He can certainly hold for baulk colour, no problem. So get the pot, should stop short of that baulk cushion.
20.
Sorry, baulk line. Okay, that's not bad. Straightforward access to the next red. Made something out of pretty much nothing.
$23.
One of those players, Dave Gilbert, he just feels like a top 16 player because he has been size 10 in the world. Problem is, there's about 30 players you think are basically top 16 players. Never been more competitive in terms of trying to get in that elite group. Of course, they have various privileges, seeding at the UK Masters fight and seeding at the Crucible.
$24.
Good to see him enjoying his snooker again. Dave, you know, everyone has issues off table and various problems. And a couple of years ago, he conceded a match 2 frames before it was over. But as I say, with Andy Lee helping him, he's turned things around. We saw that in Sheffield. Seen it again here this week. Battled yesterday when he was behind against Lu Haishan.
Thank you.
And indeed, he was 3-1 down to Ashley
30.
Carty in the previous match.
$31. $36.
It's a right old stretch that. You've got to keep a toe on the floor, remember, at all times. And it is just going to be the tip of his toe here.
$37. $44. $45. $52. $53.
Be handy to get straight on this red, or virtually straight. Yeah, he tried as hard as he could there to make that happen, because red-black would
60.
potentially be enough, but hasn't quite made it, so must get above the blue line.
61.
Perfectly played. And good response from Dave. As I said, a couple of shots earlier, the cross double, the brown to corner were outstanding. But as said at the time, it wasn't throwing the kitchen sink at it,
66.
which some players do when they're staring defeat. Played them sort of with a kind of winning
67.
purpose. He clearly still fancies it, and why not? It's playing lovely.
That red was frame ball, so no faltering. Yeah, game on. It's not just winning the frame, is it? It's how he's done it. You know, one visit and also the intent and the
74.
purpose behind it.
75. $80. $81.
John Higgins is just about over the line next door. What a great performance
87.
from him. 5-1 over Elliot Slesser to reach the semi-finals.
88.
And that's what the applause is for. They shake hands next door. So John Higgins, the 4-time British Open champion, is the first man into the last four.
$93. Dave Gilbert.
No century, but no max, and 93 will do. So Mark Selby's lead is reduced to 4-2. As a great man would have said, he's 2 up with 3 to play.
Frame 7. Dave Gilbert to break.
Gilbert still in trouble in this match, but the way he won that last frame, clearly a good sign for the potential full-scale comeback. Oh, that's not though. Wow.
Yeah, most unusual. Hit the second red, which caused the thick contact on the end one. Shows you, doesn't it, the break-off shot. It doesn't at times feel important, but of course it's a shot. It's a safety shot. You've got to get full concentration. Now, what damage? Cut red to left corner. Mark's looking at. If the cue ball comes beneath the blue off the cushion, he can possibly hold for baulk colour. Just caught it. So, a reprieve, or is it? Has that cue ball fallen in behind the green? It didn't seem possible. I mean, the cue ball's cannoned the blue, which is on its spot. Yeah, it's possible, but almost like it went past it and took a little left turn. All happening. How is that possible? Guy Jings, how has he not potted the red?
It's one thing to
Thank
miss it
you.
altogether, but to hit it and for it not to go in. Dave was just watching the replay on the monitor in the arena, disbelieving.
This is actually a really big shot, this. It was a really big shot and it's
One.
gone horribly wrong. I'm amazed, excuse me, not been wise after the event, but I thought cushion first was the play there. Played it direct and didn't get the cue ball in the open. The blue might come to the rescue. But it is thin, you see it there now.
Six.
Cue ball had a long way to travel, and it's not travelled into the best area.
Mark Selby, 6.
This is a tough one. There's traffic to avoid on the way back to Balk here. And he's got to flirt with one of them. Decent cue ball, but now with the red going fairly close to right corner, can Dave deep drag here, kill the cue ball on the way to the red, pace-wise, with black waiting? Can he time one? Oh, you bet he can. What a shot that is. There's a wind of change blowing through this match right now.
Eight. Nine. Sixteen. 17.
Again, very attacking shot he's
24.
played. And this is the thing all the time, sending a message to Mark Selby that he believes he can win this match and he's going to really go for it. And Selby Had the chance, of course, red over the pocket, didn't land on the black, lost position off the blue. Will be concerned after setting out the 93 in the last.
25.
But Gilbert knows he'll also be ready if the chance does come. As I say, it's not just Mark Selby's great career. They practice together a lot. Gilbert's seen it close up day after day.
Yeah, taking his time over this, it looks straightforward, but it's actually not easy to control the cue ball without playing a cannon. So I think he is playing the cannon to the reds, the three together. I was able to hold it with a sweet piece of cue, and another sign that the cloth is playing nicely. So well set here.
$31. $34. $35. $42. $43. $50. $51. $57. $58.
Oh, brilliant shot. He's almost channeled His inner Mark Selby with that one. That's a shot that he plays
65.
as well as anyone. That was a beautifully cued shot by Dave. So, the shred. And he should be just one behind. The red's in. The red's in.
66.
Wow, indeed. I mean, speed, it flew down into that green pocket as well. No flicker from Mark Selby, but the fact is he needs a snooker. Well, one needed.
Dave Gilbert,
Gilbert,
66.
I suppose, yeah, he holds his hand up. Can't really complain about the black, but we'll see. It's the master coming to the table at getting snookers.
One. Eight.
Yeah, that was a poor lapse, wasn't it? There's not going to be any pace on this, so it's got to go. Or it's end the frame. Well done.
9.
And now he does have the luxury, if you could call it that, if he gets the chance to get the pink back in the spot, which makes the snooker that bit easier. On the last thread.
16.
Yeah, deciding not to do
17.
it because, chiefly because you would need to peel off the red high value colour anyway, so it's probably smart to do it while he's got the chance and work off the bulk colours and trying to gain a foul. Thinking about it now, I really do think he should have thought about it before he potted that red and then get the pink on its spot, and it would have been easier, but I do think another red high value colour would be the play here. No, deciding to keep the red on the table, this is a risk.
24. Mark Selby, 24. One.
Yeah, Selby's given the thumbs up. That's a concession because the red's gone in.
Dave Gilbert, 1.
So
Frame conceded.
another dramatic frame, and it's been won as the last one was by Dave Gilbert. This is a lot closer now. Just one in it. Selby leading only 4-3. Remember, it's a race to 5 to reach the semis. At 5-1, this is not now.
Mark Selby
It's
to
looking
break.
like it would be similar at
Thank you.
4-1. Mark Selby, I'm sure in some ways, he's proud of being known as the master of brinkmanship, but he'd also like to win a few matches without having to go to a deciding frame. And of course, he's already had to survive 3 this week. In this tournament, he lost to Ishpreet Singh Chadha at this stage of the English Open last week, 5-4 on the black. Gilbert wins this frame. It's yet another deciding frame finish. So often on the first attempt at that shot, you see the players miss altogether because they don't want to sort of err the other way and clatter into them. But he got it first time, although cue ball, you would have loved to have tracked back to the cushion. And that's wide.
1.
Yeah, no, with the table playing as nicely as it is, he's well capable of just chipping away at the reds, but the angle on the green is absolute perfection if he wants to attack the pack of reds. He's winding. But no joy.
4.
This is where the game can be very cruel. He's played the aggressive shot. He's played it well. But got no reward.
Mark Selby, 4.
Yeah, and you won't go unnoticed that Gilbert was a little fortunate there. Held his hand up. Of course, the fluke was a big moment in the last frame. Could have left an easy starter is the point.
Yeah, happened to Dave earlier in the match. A couple of gentlemen just moved as Mark was addressing the cue ball first time round. It just broke his concentration. Not an excuse, it did happen. Now then, can Dave find a sweet piece of cueing just when he needs it?
1. 8. Nine.
And if you believe that you get good days and bad days just randomly, which I suppose you do as a snooker player, Dave's having one, certainly in the second half of this match, where good things are happening. The fluke in the last frame, half getting away with one. His last visit, then Mark not taking advantage. Everything
14.
at the moment is not in his favour.
15.
And there it is again, the absolute perfect leave.
20. 21.
Seems a funny thing to say almost, but he's one of those players, Gilbert, he just looks good, doesn't he? When he's playing well. He just has a look about him. You think, yeah, you could see him reeling off 4 frames in a row, which is what he needed to do from 4-1 down. He's always had that lovely style around the table.
28. 29.
Comes from the grounding he's had growing up in the Midlands with all the opportunities to play in tournaments, junior events. Midland Championship he actually won as a young man.
$35. 36.
In actual fact, I'm just looking at his cue action, and for me it's even better than what it was 4 or 5 years ago, getting to semis at Sheffield, all that stuff, and getting in the top 16. It used to be actually
42.
a bit longer and a bit smoother, but looser for that. I think it's a bit more compact these days, and that's giving him better control when he gets this type of chance. He's always been a terrific scorer, we know that. But you get an air of, well, as much certainty as you can when he gets this type of chance that he's going to take the frame out.
$43.
There it is again. All right, he's played it to perfection. But
50.
every time he plays into reds or something could possibly go wrong, it's landing perfectly.
51.
Should be a decider now.
Yeah, Mark Selby has watched every ball as well. He's clocked all of this. Well, Mark Selby playing his 4th match of the tournament.
58.
It would seem heading for his 4th decider. But you have to say, he hasn't had that many, certainly clear-cut chances. Gilbert's really been on the front foot. Did have the chance, didn't he, in the last frame when the red was over the pocket. Didn't get on the black, potted the blue, lost position.
59.
Well, we're not done yet in this frame. Not over the line here.
Yeah, I think he's as surprised as everyone else. The Centaur Arena, how he's not taking the frame down in this hit. He might be trying to get the pink on the left cushion around the baulk line and playing this. He's trying to,
Dave Gilbert, 59.
but he hasn't got it. And as we know, it's a kind of red rag to a bull, this type of situation, against the great Mark Selby. Lots to do, of course, but it should be 4-all by now, almost. Interestingly, he took a shot on there that he didn't want to. He wanted to, just contain the situation for at least a couple of shots. There was no obvious return to baulk, so Mark clinging on by his fingernails in this frame, but he has a reasonable starter.
One. Seven. Eight. $50. 60. 23. $24.
Okay, then he's going to play to shift the red. Small target. Can he find the cannon? Nope. But I suppose at least now he's in a position that, well, 3 or 4
31.
minutes ago, I don't think he dreamed he would be back at the table, so all is far from lost.
Mark Selby, 31.
So Gilbert has a 24-point lead. Realistically looking for red and colour to make the frame safe. May need the yellow as well, but it's close to a pocket.
So decisions, an easy safety shot, but he's going to be taking the pot on. Good thing, one crumb of comfort that he has in playing it. He's virtually guaranteed to be on the yellow if he pots this red. The colours at his mercy, but he doesn't have all of the pocket, doesn't he? It's just the very right half of it is obscured slightly. Just see it there.
Well, Mark Selby playing that shot has inadvertently pushed the green to the cushion, which is not in his favour, trailing by 24. Terrific pot. Now yellow and yellow again. Selby would need a snooker. Credit to Gilbert, he's shown good attitude from 4-1 down, trying to make something happen. Ridden a little bit of luck here and there as well, all part of it. And he's missed that. Wow, again, frame ball.
Dave Gilbert, 3.
Keeps looking at that tip as well. I don't know whether he feels there's something slightly wrong with it, but there was something wrong with this. Missing the yellow. So 27 in front, 27 on.
Yeah, incredible. I mean, I understand he's trying to screw back and play the double on the green. But he did know in the very back recesses of his mind, I shouldn't be doing this. as he just pot the yellow. B29 in front with the green left, but it was almost guilt that caused them to miss the yellow, I think. Either way, now Mark trying to lift the green here, punch it out. Well played, needs help though. And he hasn't got it, so Dave, another chance, and he kind of walks down this end of the table and sort of eyeballs Mark. It's all happening out there. Played in a great spirit, but this should pave the way to 4-4.
Two.
Well, it's not quite done yet, but he can breathe a little easier. I'm sure he played for the double on the green initially because he's playing Mark Selby, and he's thinking, well, he's not far enough ahead. I want the security of maybe trying to get the green down as well. That's the respect he's got for Mark. Well, some applause, but it's not in. So at the moment, it's 1 4-point snooker to tie.
Yeah, I think you're absolutely correct in that, Dave. But, you know, that's what we always say. Your reputation in this game follows you around. And the odd occasion it does you a favour, even though you're sitting in your chair. He just will not let go, this guy, will he? All right, it's one you'd expect Dave to hit. But the question has been asked. It's all you can do.
Foul.
Now, if he hits the pink,
Mark
yeah.
Selby, 6.
Well, it's not a free ball, at least, but he's hit the pink, so rather than being able to tie, Selby can now win. Those 6 points as opposed to 4 have made a big difference. Where is this heading? Where is this heading? Amazing. Amazing.
Great.
Time stood still there, didn't it? For a while. Was it going to be over the pocket? Was it going to be in the pocket? Another blow for Selby. Had him in trouble, or so it seemed. Now we're back to needing one 4-point snooker to tie.
Dave Gilbert, 3.
This may look a straightforward hit, but when the cue ball's so close to the cushion, it's difficult to judge the amount of side that you put on it. You see how awkward it is there? Almost hitting the cushion before the cue ball. There you go.
Foul. Mark Selby, 4.
Always such a difficult shot to play that when you have to play with quite a lot of side. The first thing is the cue ball pushes farther left than you think. Hence the miss. So we're back to, well, not back to, but 22 now. We couldn't have a respot, could we? He's looking at the potting angle so he can get through.
Well, he got close to it, but it's available now to the opposite corner for Gilbert. And this will mean 2 snookers needed.
Four.
And he's on the blue, so we're going all the way.
9.
The running has not gone for Selby. He'll be hoping that changes in the decider. It's another one. He's 4th of the week in as many matches. Can he prevail
15
again?
and the frame.
We'll find out
Dave
soon.
Gilbert.
Dave Gilbert from 4-1 down has turned it around with one more frame to decide who advances to the semi-finals. It's 4-4. In semi-finals, Gilbert has come back from 4-1 down.
Thank you. Final frame. Dave Gilbert to break.
Dave today has been leaving this red, or the possible red, to right corner. It's on again. With Mark having already had a couple of sighters at it, he'll have a feel for this shot.
One. Mark Selby, 1.
Even when he drops in behind the baulk colour, he does it like he wants to weld it to the green and make your life as tough as possible. He just finds a way of making you work hard on a shot that others can't. And he's created a little opening again where other players wouldn't have been able to.
One. Eight.
This high black off the spot to attack the cluster. If he plays it, he's the best in the business. Yeah, I think he's changed his mind. It's going to be blue, or is it? Let's see. Yeah, looks like blue.
9.
Yeah, direct isn't really on, it's too straight, so a couple of cushions perhaps. Get it spinning. God, that's unfortunate.
14.
Yeah, unlucky again. you know, he's not had the best running, and you do need it. Sometimes at vital moments, just get me on a red. One red, and then he could be away and win the match. Wasn't to be.
Mark Selby 14.
Selby's last two matches last week in the English Open were both deciders. Beat Sejal. We lost on the black 5-4 to Ishpreet Singh Chadha. And then, of course, prior to this, his first three this week have all been deciders. He beat Pang Jung Zhu 4-3, Yuan Sijun 4-3, Tepchara Nu 4-3.
Now, will Dave push Reds up table, cue ball back on the same cushion? Players don't like this in any frame, far less a decider. He doesn't have a lot of other appealing options, so It's going to be one of those frames, it seems, barring a re-rack. It was a frame similar to the last one over in Brentwood, wasn't it, on Sunday evening? Neil Robertson pipped Wu Yiza.
Yeah, it can take a long time to sort of play out, but then, as we saw then, when the chance comes, it's a really good one. At that point, Neil needed that to be the case.
Yes, and re-racks can, I think, prematurely be called these days. There's no reason for one here, other than other than the players don't like this type of frame. There's no material reason for it to happen. Not yet, anyway. Cue ball close to this end cushion is a must. There are options to both far corners. And obviously both middle pockets, but now ain't the time, I don't think.
It's been just over 8 minutes since the last pot. A real standoff here in this deciding frame.
Yeah, I think he's considering playing the pot to left middle and leave the long blue. But discretion the better part of valour. It's just the cue ball back to the cushion again. But Dave's going to pull the trigger. This has got to go. He's guaranteed to leave one. Oh, what a shot. What a shot that is. this has gone badly wrong.
7.
Ah, that's a stunning shot. And I mean, some of the shots he's played, I'm thinking of the Brown earlier at 4-1 into this bottom right corner, just brave, you know, ultra brave shots. It's a bit like Dave's prepared to go out in the shield, but it's not reckless. Clearly fancies it.
So Mark Selby had the first chance, just didn't get a good split in going into the pack. Long standoff followed. Gilbert has forced his way in. How far will he get?
Foul.
Well, playing a
Gilbert
forcing
8,
shot, he's
Mark
forced the
Selby
black off the table. So
7.
another twist. There is a red just off the green spot, the pots. But pressure's well and truly on. He could have left an easier one.
One.
Yeah, nicely done. So Mark Selby with a second chance. This time the Reds are in play. Played well in this match. He had a break of 101 in frame 2. And it's not like it's been a catalogue of errors from him from 4-1. Far from it, actually. Got to credit the good play of Dave Gilbert, who has had some running as well. It's all part of it. But now what it's about from Selby's perspective is composure.
7.
One thing he has got, as we know, in this situation is experience. We've seen it all week.
Eight.
Yes, and that red that he's knocked in to get this contribution going is the kind of thing that's been missing from his game in the last few years. For pretty much a decade or even more, we were so used to him getting into this sort of situation, and the first chance he got,
14.
he was jumping all over it. Well, he has again today. So that will be so pleasing if he can take advantage.
15.
Just that one shot, the red, the initial red, he was leaving plenty. So to knock that in was top drawer.
21. $22.
This is where the new cloth helps him, getting this cue ball held for the two reds. Perfect.
27. $28. $35.
So it's essentially 3 more pots needed.
$36.
So just shy of 3 hours. It's been a good match, this. Gilbert has come back very strongly. Did have the chance in this frame. Mark Selby could have been better on this, but it is, if it goes in, the ball that will leave Gilbert requiring snookers. And in it goes. So many things have gone against him in this match. But he always backs himself in these deciders, and once again it seems he's come good. So we've had upsets this week, and you get that in any format, never mind an open draw. But as we reach the semi-finals, the big hitters are starting to land a few blows. John Higgins already through. And Mark Selby looking good
50.
to join him. 64 in front with 51 on.
So
Gilbert has seen enough. Great match. It was a terrific comeback, and as you can see, it was played in a brilliant atmosphere with great respect between the two of them. But it is Mark Selby, the 4 times world champion, runner-up in the British Open last year, who joins John Higgins in tonight's semi-final draw. He's the winner by 5 frames to 4.